A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another session on perseverance versus procrastination in fertility treatment. So, this is Vijay Gita, clinical health psychologist from Apollo CM Fertility. Let's look into the important aspects of a treatment, specifically in a fertility treatment. Why time management, nutrition, we also saw how they would help. And also sometimes it is absolutely on one's decision making whether to go ahead with the line of treatment. Sometimes the reports are promising, that gives like, can we do something more towards a natural conception, or do we need to take a hardcore step where a treatment intervention is really beneficial? Well, not everybody knows, but sometimes it's the decision that comes to a picture. So this session is completely about how, when the decision is in the hands of the patient, how sometimes perseverance and procrastination would become costly. Means, even if they take up a treatment, there's something that comes up and then there is no required window to address a newly coming issues. So some of the key factors that we will see into the behavioral aspect of the more importance and weightage given more in the line of a treatment. So this session is for those who it will help in understanding in detail what a fertility treatment is all about towards oneself and how proper planning helps out. So welcome to the session. The mere word perseverance and the word procrastination, it is like you need the patience to get until what you need is achieved. And what happens when you decide or not deciding in the appropriate time, how it is going to impact your dreams coming true. A simple quote is what I would like to say about: a seed will not grow if you plant it in a polluted and malnourished soil. So, similarly, when planning for a child, things that don't work by just pressing a button, and they certainly don't always work instantly. So, what are the key factors that we will be looking into when it comes with a fertility treatment line? As said, the word persistently doing things despite whatever difficulty arises until you achieve success is perseverance. And procrastinating is like, you voluntarily delay or postpone despite knowing that there can be a negative consequences to doing so. The most important factor that one would see, at least from the treatment line or a medical line, is health. So when the health comes to the picture, it can be anything. The sideline as of now, the fertility aspect. We will look into the overall health. Will it be possible for you to give yourself 100% at work, at family, at society if your health is not convinced enough? You obviously try to work it out in such a way that your health is not deteriorating, but at the same time, you want to contribute, right? And the most concrete example that sounds very logic, but at the same time, very calculative is the wealth. So it is like this: I decide to invest in this particular bank owing to this as my interest. Wait for the timeline and then you get the fruitful result. Since in wealth it is all calculated, the word calculated, and we know exactly what is sown, you get in back in requital of what is going to achieve, and you get back that dot amount. One sees the benefits, but that is a hardcore calculated way. It is not the same when it comes with other aspects of life. For example, health. For example, a behavior which is in the form of relationship. For example, your other aspects of life or in general life itself. So one needs to do a great deal and wait for the result to come up, and wait, more above all, wait patiently to get back. It is only in wealth that we see that I am just going to put at this calculated risk factor. there is a zero risk factor, and I get back what is calculated. When it comes with health, it is not so. Why? Your entire body works on approximation, which means if your blood or your hemoglobin value is from this range to this range, we say you fall in a healthy cadre. If your liver function test or your lipid profile or your thyroid hormone or as simple as your follicle stimulating hormone or your luteinizing hormone, if they are from this range to this range, if your values follow in between them, you're considered to be normal and healthy. It itself is an approximation. That is why, in other areas of life except money, the calculated outcome is never achieved. So, we need a lot of good decision making, above all, decisions with supported evidences, which is our documents, like our hormonal assay or a blood test or scan, and so forth. Like how we do in our relationship pattern. I have been so far so good with this particular relation. So far, the repercussion is also the same, or I have been equally benefited the same way to what I have indulged into. So you tend to grow, and you also apply the same formula to all parts of life where you also evolve spiritually. But overall in life, since there are many factors, many people, their own probabilities are all added together, it is usually an up and down event. So if you see, I have put a small indicator in your life, it looks like our, blood pressure, ECG code, like a QPR index. It's up, it's down, but is it falling into the normal range? Well, it is good to go. So this is how we tend to deal, at least in the health aspect. When it comes with health, a lot of detailed explanation, reports that will give nuances, which is a hardcore evidence to say, hey, this is where you are, and for your dream to come true, you need this to get to what you want. So, focus on what you want is really important. So, let's say a common walk in, a couple might say, as of now, I'm focusing on my period cycle is irregular. I want to normalize my period cycle, or in a longer run, actually, you want to conceive as soon as possible, but you're not going to that extent to say, oh, doctor will put me in treatment, doctor will give me medication. What if what are the side effects? So there are so many gray areas according to you, but you're so hesitant to open up. So you come up stating, um, my um, longer focus, my goal is to achieve pregnancy, but as of now, I'm looking to modulate my periodical cycle. So focusing on what you want is equally important. Directly when you come to a doctor, please say what is your ultimate goal is all about. Like for example, I've been here, this is my go through, like my periodical cycle, my hormones are like this, I'm getting elevated, these are my effects that I go through during my menstrual phase. But my goal, since I have been married, is to achieve a healthy pregnancy. So the doctor will help you out in identifying, based on what your goal is, few of the factors. What are they is listed here. First thing that anybody would like to assess is the physical body. The physical body is very important to check into the various aspects. So let's say, for example, if you're looking on your hormonals, my doctor will not see only hormones, no. What is causing the hormones to fluctuate? It can be a vitamin deficiency, or nutrition part is not taken care, or you have some other internal organ problem that is contributing to this hormonal fluctuation. So she would go through a scan which checks their internal organs, blood test to check the quality of blood and the hormones, and also other parts like, if there is any other organ like your nervous system. Are you okay? Are you anxious? Are you trembling? Are you weak? Are you sturdy? Is there any other ailment that is affecting you? Some come up stating that I do have aches and pains. Which is a classic sign of vitamin D deficiency, right? So doctor will ponder on various aspects. But if you're not clearly defining what you want or you're not focusing, then it leads to confusion where you start procrastinating. Out of the 10 things that doctor gives, you might do two and you will get back with the others. Sometimes there is a lot of correlation with the streamlined things that has been given. If you choose to do two and neglect the eight, and when you go back, the doctor says, okay, you've at least come with two, let me see what I can deal with. So there is a lot of irregularities that comes up mainly because you do not want to do completely or follow simple instruction which is given. Similarly, on the healthy background, we also see based on our religious and culture, I don't feel like going there. I'm too stressed. I'm feeling all suffocated. The moment when certain things are done, I'm very closed. I'm very delicate. I'm very subtle. So everybody is also considered our surrounding, which we always talk about, the aura. When we look into the aura, then the person says, oh, this doctor spoke to me so nicely. So there is an energy indication or something that says that, hey, I felt very nice. So rather than going around by feelings and emotion, look and focus also on what the doctor says. This is also important to get into the nuances of why you get irritated, what are the things that you are also expecting subtly. Your emotions here is the major role. Emotions is equally important while we are always dealing with hormones. So we look into the emotional part, which is the greatest deal that is in picture. When we look into the fertility aspect, the doctor's primary focus will be, okay, a general case history reveals most of the character of the health seems to be normal. Let's now get into the hormonal part. So she will start looking into which hormones, what are the minimum hormones that can be given, why only a few hormone tests, is that sufficient, or is it just a beginning, or do we want to look into more, comes to the picture. Well, this leads to a lot of thoughts coming up. So mentally, a patient can be clogged. What is this all about? That's all needs to be tested, or is there something? So initially, doctor said we will see three. After that, some more. Why can't she just give all the hormones now? It is not necessary. Initially, when hormones come to the picture, its closest relation to the health, at least for the fertile ground, we see the correlate. Only when the initial commonly tested hormone does not give a complete picture, we start looking for other supporting hormones to see why it happens. That is why always one consultation or your first consultation or your only consultation is never complete. There would be a chain of meetings with the doctor, supporting with some tests, some scan. Sometimes she would ask for an additional information. Sometimes she say, okay, let's do some other blood test. We'll all come to the picture, which is step by step, which is like a pyramid. Though the goal is achieving pregnancy and not giving all the things in cadres and tests and scans that is required for that, we take it step by step, a piece at a time, so that your conception is more towards natural. We are giving a chance also so that the physical body, how responsive they are, and also try to identify what are the indicators that the physical body is not responding towards a natural conception comes up. So if you see how a case is being dealt is, personally, when there is a what do you call, as oneself, as you as a person, when you go meet the doctor, she identifies you as a personality and says, okay ma, this patient is very sensitive, probably this patient also has an additional anxiety issue. So when those things come to the picture as an identification, like who you are, how you have been discussing with the doctor, how okay is it for you to oblige, or are you rebelling, or sometimes additionally your lifestyle, your other aspects of life also the doctor would consider to see, to give you a holistic approach in taking you towards your goal, getting pregnant. Now this is what is the ultimate goal, as everybody said. But before getting into the ultimate goal, let's see any questions so far arriving. Any questions? Okay, so let's get to talking about how are we planning to get pregnant and how procrastination in health would postpone your dream coming true. More importantly, what are the factors by procrastinating leads to affecting one's fertility? There is always a better health model available for achieving much better results. We all know that every individual is unique. So is their individual nature. So is how a medicine would also affect a person. So is also how a treatment line would be framed. So if you notice, though the protocol that is being followed is on the whole, if you see, is predominantly the same. Catering down is always there, which is highly subjective. Now, this is where, though the broader term fertility treatment for infertility is one line statement, every patient would be handled in the same manner, but how it is catered down is very subjective. So, here, knowing oneself plays a very important role. First of all, above all, is you who are meeting us or meeting the doctor, meeting a physician, meeting a counselor, meeting about financial planning. So your personality always plays an important role. If you are a person who wants to understand more, who wants to know all the details, who wants to get clarity, who wants to know what is a framed treatment cycle, why certain things are advised for you, which is not advised for the others. So your personality plays a very important role, which any counselor in a fertility setup would help you to do so. Now, why personality plays an important role? Now, suddenly doctor says, okay, ma, get a scan done tomorrow. First question would arise in the head is why? After so long, after so many tests, after so many, how different is this scan and why is doctor insisting it now? So if there is simple why, and if you get a proper, let's say, an answer towards that, and you look into the time management on what time gap, when it needs to be done, is it time specific or why it needs to be done? If you have a clarity, then it is good to go. But not many would oblige, They will try to procrastinate. Can I do it next week? Can I do it next month? Anyways, all these tests is normal. No, why do I need this scanned report? Can I avoid it? If I go after 5 days, doctor will forget. So I will just like that go. So personality here, understanding, at least from the counselor's viewpoint, we find it very important because we will definitely know there will be procrastinating behaviors, there will be questioning behaviors. Oh, this person will not do if there is no clarity. So we will give additional clarification for such doubt seeking people, make them understand the importance of certain tests and move forward. So that is why personality is very important. Also, one's fertility health. So knowing one's fertility health is very important. At least now, for the past post COVID, is what we see is a lot of couple or a lot of individual people do walk into fertility centers to gauge themselves. I am planning for a marriage, so I would like to know where I am standing in my fertility health. So we would do a complete analysis, understand one's personality, understand one's medical background. We also advise a series of tests and scans. Well, that gauges one's fertility health, which always gives a responsibility. Oh, I have a lot of windows, so I will marry now, and probably I will plan to settle down in 2 to 3 years of time. I will invest my 2 to 3 years in job stability, in my new relationship stability. I'm having an extended family, which is now being a part of my family. I would try to build the surroundings or my situation, which is my home parameters first. Thereby, when I settle with the family, they would all be there very supportive. Now, this responsibility is there in everybody. But what if certain parameters does indicate, oops, you do not have such time. So, immediate marriage, one is also forced to do pregnancy planning so that after that you can focus on to others. This is because your body is made in that way. So, fertility health, the responsibility of getting the understanding where one stands in at least the fertility health plays an important role. It's like doing a master health checkup. So I did my master health checkup for the year. All my reports are normal. Oh yeah, I would be relaxed now for next 1 year. I'm completely good to go because all those test results says my validity. Okay, my lipid profile validity is 3 months, or some other profile validity is 1 month. My hemoglobin validity is for this validity. So all your reports say at least for a good to go for my next 1 year, a year, I need not worry. If you follow something in that cadre, then you get things you can focus out of your health factor. If not, you will be looking into the areas in your fertility health, what needs to be done, like nuancing. And that is where your responsibility comes to a picture. I now know what to do, but where would I seek? Who are the right doctors to go and meet? I do not know anyone. What are the right places that I can avail such services? And what is the right counseling that needs to be taken? So, for example, if you are looking into the fertility background of an health, you will be meeting specific counselors who are um, who are researchers or who are counselors who do counseling on health backgrounds. It's very specifically fertility health background. So that is a right counseling where I know basics counseling protocol. We try to understand your anxiety level. Do you carry any depression? Are there any mood swings? Then run general psychiatric parameters to check. Okay, so since your fertility health is in this background, what are your stress levels? How can we elevate out in finding out how much of window and how appropriate a planning would be? Above all, we also do couple counseling as well as family counseling and therapy. Family counseling and therapy comes to a picture when sometimes a grave decision has to be done. Like, this couple would definitely look into for the treatment angle because the healthy factor on the fertility basement is literally bit weak. So they do need monitoring and support from the right fertility specialist doctors, and then they can plan accordingly. Now, this comes in the right seeking place, provided you see the right doctors. If you don't know anyone, probably you can just walk into Apollo CM Fertility, where we have a panel of doctors to look into your fertility aspects. Now, then comes, okay, I am doing. What is my investment here? Everything is not free of cost, right? So at least for an example, let me at least do a consultation to identify, or to a great extent, what would be my investment in the form of time as well as in the form of money, that I need to be well prepared if certain things do not work. So financially fit, being fit, your time management. This time, okay, this is my office time. I do not get the window to get out every time. Is there an alternative way, but at the same window time which my doctor tells me to meet, is it possible for me to meet her? So your time and investment are two important factors when it comes on timely basis, and how important it needs to be calculated. Everybody's time is equally important, but at the same time, we do not want to waste your precious window time for pregnancy. And for better outcome, there are certain fertility rites and rituals which we commonly would tell or see some couples who are up to plan for their pregnancy. First and foremost, when we look at the goal of pregnancy, first one should be mentally prepared, which is like creating a space in your thought, like, yes, I am settling to be a mom. I got married today. Another down the lane of 2 years, we are creating a space. So till 2 years, I will be, trying sincerely, visiting the doctor, planning ahead, doing things appropriately. Once I'm pregnant, and this window period, I would invest for my becoming pregnancy. So planning comes to the picture. What are the key points as responsibilities that you will take? If doctor says you need to visit me at every now and then, What are those now and thens? And how would you plan so that you do not miss those visits? And what if there is some trouble points, and how do you troubleshoot it? Or you're getting into trouble, oh, this scan was not looking good, and you get into deeper analysis of why it is not good, what needs to be done. What if doctor advises some scans and blood tests? You have to go get, you need time for that, right? Similarly, second point, which will become your routine or the ritual, is focusing on a diet. Nutrition and nourishment are equally important. Diet itself says, it's a framed platter of what to eat, not eliminatory diet. So you need to focus also on the nourishment and the nutrition aspect. So if you're planning for pregnancy, always the first goal for everyone, including the couple as well as the doctors as well as counselors here, all are planning so that we'll always try to help the couple achieve a healthy natural planning. So we would educate the couple, we would educate on the menstrual phase, we will look into a cycle, we'll try to plan during the fertility window, what are the support that is required to say that this fertility window would lead to success. Every step is well taken care, for which what I'm trying to say is you will need to be monitored regularly. Not necessary that always a scan, always a blood hormone levels is the only way. Sometimes a body would indicate in like small forms of signs and symptom, which we always try to ask the patient now and here, now and then, how did you feel? There are couples who've got themselves periods missed. Ma'am, before my periods missed, I had a heaviness in my lower abdomen. I felt I was becoming heavy. I have seen that I've gained weight, and then I found out to be pregnant. So something to ponder on, to try to identify what your body was signaling when there was an important change. Regular monitoring is equally important. To do all this, you need to have plans or certain decisions. So when it comes with quality decisions, at least with respect to, let's say, a treatment, you need to be monitored, right? A scan is a part of a treatment plan. So you need to take professional help where scans or blood tests are done under professional setup, not some random venues where they would also say blood test. But what is the difference between running my hormonal test in a fertility center and running my hormonal test in other areas? Has its own differences. Quality of life. So far, we were just talking about creating space, food, being there, planning appropriately, support for decision making. Oh my God, there's lots of process. But are we enjoying? Are you enjoying in that process? Is there happiness part of your life? Is there joy in the journey? Try to look at the entire line in an optimistic viewpoint. What is the goal? Why are you here? How others are supporting you as a couple to achieve the goal. Well, these nuances would add happiness to your journey for your joyful future or the fruitful action. Focus in all this is really very important, and we have lot of venues available to increase focus, like meditation, music, arts. You can paint. There's lot of beneficiaries when seen among couple or a lady who tends to um, do artistic work. Not only the amount of time is being swayed away, but she achieves a greater peace. So there is peace and stability, and also there is a lot of focus that is increasing, so which is what is required to apply in other areas of life. Drink sufficient water, hydrate yourself so that you flush out all the excessive hormones or the stressful toxins. Marking your milestones. Okay, I have my window period. I waited for my window period, and did not work. So I'm going to take these as my steps to move forward. So this was my sign. These were the symptom. This was an expected symptom. These were the unexpected symptom. But my ultimate expectation, which is achieving pregnancy, is it going towards that. So marking important milestones plays an important aspect also. Not only that, it is not about walking to a clinic and getting yourself pregnant. Everybody looks for a natural way. So as our doctors would help you to support that. Sexual life is equally important. So one needs to also psychologically understand to see that as a couple, are you two meeting your needs and expectations, as specifically your expectations and emotions with the partners among each other. Are you having sound sleep? A good sleep is equally important, where you're relaxed, deep, and good sleep leads to a stress free, one way of de stressing yourself. Also, a routine in exercise plays an important role in keeping the body fit. It bursts out stress, harmonizes hormonal imbalance, and also rejuvenates the body. So, here and there, you can always get in touch to look into what sort of an activity that you can incorporate, so that if, let's say, you are gaining weight because of a repeated fertility treatment, what sort of a routine would not only put a weight check but also get back to you on healthy hormonal parameters. And it is always a strict no on bad habits. What are the solutions? But before getting into solutions, let's look if there are questions. Oh my god. Let me look at all the questions. I do get such questions in my mind, but I am hesitant to ask. How should I confront such a situation? You need to understand what the question is. Then you will know who is a relevant person to talk. If it is a medical question, speak with your doctor. But if the doctor is not giving you the right answer, which you come to, like, no, I feel somewhere that my questions are not answered appropriately, please meet the counselor there and get yourself understood properly. So this keeps you from random thinking, which gives into a lot of anxiety state. So confronting such a situation is nothing to confront. You just need to identify who is the right person to ask your questions to get addressed. Should we believe in online information? Online information, internet information, which is available, are framed information. One can take a overall understanding what is what, but all those you need not face. For example, let's say you came in for a fertility center and you're looking for a treatment. According to Google, certain treatment line would go for 15 to 18 days. But what if your treatment line itself is finished in 11 days and you are pregnant by the end of the periodical cycle? So it is highly subjective. The brief understanding of what it is, you can take the help of the online. To know the subjective development, where you are standing in that can always be achieved with the help of your doctor. How should I select a fertility clinic for me? Who can help me with all these things? It is always left to the decision of the couple to look for doctor, years of experience, qualification. Well, we see that, and obviously go have a meet. You're not going for treatment directly, no, you're just going for consultation. If you do not know anyone, you're free to walk into a policy on fertility. So here we have not only doctors but also counselors like me, where we help you to understand what is the medical line, what is the psychological aspects, how it would be bridging, what are the expectations that needs to be met, what are your investment parts. So this we are one in under a big umbrella. You need not go anywhere else. So you can look for solutions, everything in one roof. We also have our embryologists who also speak with the patients to get into the deeper understanding what would be the quality of my cell, why the embryos don't grow, why my miscarriage happened, what is a blighted ovum, how will it appear, will I be able to give good quality eggs. Well, we are all in under one roof, where individually you can have your sessions to have a deeper understanding in any aspect of your treatment line. Do you recommend perseverance or procrastination? I would always see for perseverance. Being a researcher over a decade, what I have come across, not only in working scenario, but also in when I see my data collection, couple who have genuinely, religiously, routinely just following every instruction, don't know, get an understanding, who come and does everything that is being told, have seen the result in the shortest duration of time. What do you mean by shortest duration? Let's say pregnancy planning And all the natural methods a couple would have tried did not take them anywhere, and they have come. And IUI has also become a successful, and natural conception has also become a successful. Well, then quality decision is done. Okay, these are not working, and then an IVF was done. In, let's say, in the very first implantation, there was a successful. What made them successful is that individual journey that one has gone through. So I would recommend perseverance, because just like how time and money is equally important to everyone, putting or subjecting a person for unnecessary tests is never a part of us, as a place which looks in for a faster solution or a very good response or a more success rates. So getting into the nuances with quality decision, speeding up the journey, and making the dream come true is always been fruitful among couples who have persevered for it. I have become insomniac, planning so many things, how to get myself to a better situation. Planning is really very good. Getting into insomnia takes you nowhere. When you plan, you first need to look into your timeline. I will help you out with your timeline. But any part of your life, if you are planning, there is a beginning, that is the phase of moving forward. It has its own up and down, right? Okay, this is one way of approaching the problem, and I have come across four options. I take option 2, but that did not go, so I took option 4. It went through. You will also think why my other 3 options did not work. That's a very good person who executes a plan. So you go through option 4 and you're climbing your steps and you achieve the goal. This behavior of perseverance is first step for successful. You need not become insomniac. Why will there an insomnia come? It is very evident to say you've not identified the factors in your plan. You've not identified the nuances in your plan. You've not identified the important factors in your plan. Above all, you've not identified the target of your plan. Then insomnia cannot be ruled out. I joined at the end of when you were talking about spiritual health. Can you please repeat that section once more? What does one mean by spiritual health? Spirituality, on a general terminology, is a factor which helps a person to see on all aspects of life equally. So you're not procrastinating one and looking into the other. You're not killing one and doing other. You're not cheating in one area of life and then you're overexerting in the other area of life. It is like you're looking yourself on all the 360 degrees of your life factor. Health is very important. So let's say, for example, you come from a ex religion or cultural background. So in this background, and let's say you have to go for your Tuesday puja, and there is a Friday puja, and I'm supposed to get up at 4 in the morning to do my religious practice. But during my fertility treatment, there is good night sleep that is addressed for, good food that is addressed for, but all these religious practices requires fasting, right? How would you balance this? Well, the health counselor there will help you to focus when you can take what, how important it is, what are the other ways of dealing, so that on the whole, neither your physical nor your emotions nor your thoughts and actions is compromised in any aspect of your life, which is what I meant as spiritual health. Are all these pointers like diet, plan, exercise a part of a fertility counseling? Yes, and much more. It also gets into the nuances of a proper planning for a fertility treatment. My husband and I want to adopt a kid. Do they allow us if we are perfectly fertile? Adoption is a couple's responsibility and a complete solo decision making. Well, our center doesn't support as such for a couple who wants to go for adoption, but it is perfectly healthy to go for an adoption if you feel to do so. It has got nothing to do with your fertility background. So there are sorry to quote, including celebrities, they have their own kids, but they have also adopted kids. So if you are a couple who wanted to be something like that, well, your fertility platform is never a point to judge. How do we understand whether the doctor is helping us with the right information? Tricky question. You are meeting an expertise doctor, then you can cross check. Let's say, for example, for ovulation, and the doctor advises this is your ovulatory drug or medication, and you suspect whether the doctor is giving you the right medication. You can use the internet for only the access whether this is given for ovulatory actions, something like that. View the reason to meet an expertise in the area should should not mislead you. So go to the right person. That is more important. You cannot look for answers from a person who has not done, let's say, or not aware about fertility treatment on the whole. Na? Doctors are doctors. All have finished their degrees and experiences. They all come and sit. So it is a dicey question, but it is a pretty important question that the couple should know what the doctor says is equally right. But if you are doubting something like that, then you need to cross check. You can ask the doctor, are you qualified in this area that you're giving me this medicine? Well, that would address the doubt line. You can check with the pharmacist for what this medicine is given. In that ways, you can get to know the information that is given to you is right or not. Okay, so getting back to the solution part. First part in anything, even in your overall generalized part of your life, prioritization. My long goal, which is like in 2 years, you want to become pregnant, you need to prioritize your 2 year journey. It has 24 months, and in 24 months, I would get my 24 menstrual cycle. In my 24 menstrual cycle, what am I supposed to do? What are my don'ts? How am I supposed to be during fertile window period? What am I supposed to do after my fertile window period? When and where? How to get along with my doctor? Completely marked it down. So you're prioritizing your life towards that goal. So you will not be doing, my goal is pregnancy, but I want to go do a high jump. I want to get myself in kickboxing training. No, it's my hobby, but I would like to do. Prioritize whether you want to indulge in such a hobby or are you planning for your pregnancy. So prioritizing in your life, which is the main cadre now. So you will try to allocate your work also like that. Oh, this time if I am pregnant, I cannot travel. So is there an option for me that I can do in my work to say, boss, can I work from home? So something like that. And what are the responsibilities that you will still take care, not only in work, but also in all parts of the life based on your priority of action. So you can say your family members, I'm so sorry, I cannot entertain activities that I'm supposed to lift. So I would ask the help of my spouse to do some activities of the house which requires human labor and effort. So you can keep your house members well informed from this time to this time. I am not planning to lift heavy weights or get into very stressful incidences of the life. Two, authorize. Rightful question by a viewer who said, how do I know whether the doctor giving information or medication or a treatment line is correct? So it is you who are authorizing who are the doctors that you are allowing to treat. So you need to get to know your doctors in detail. Just like how you select your friends to be closer ones and you tell them that additional information. On what basis? So you need to look into the various basis factor. And also do not neglect your culture. Please keep informed that no, in this treatment line in between one Friday is coming, which I am supposed to fast. Let me ask the doctor, can I do that? So you need to have your authorization in your hand to see how, where, and how to go about. Last but not the least is to monetize it. Your time and money is your equal involvement in that. So time based, I am allocating, this is my treatment plan and this is my monetary part that I'm arranging, and am I good to go? Some of the solution that takes you towards a fruitful journey. As discussed, I said I would also talk something about an action plan or the timeline. Your first indicator for your journey, let's say, is your marriage. Somebody who's not married, but of late I see a lot of walk-ins who would like to say that planning to get married, let me look into my other health aspects. What am I supposed to do? Let me go meet a doctor. I found that the doctor is not aware of so much things. Let me look into the expert angle. Let me ask her who's some experts. Get into the data, identify good doctors, have a visit, and so forth. Or we are married and we've tried everything according to what my parents told me, according to what my ancestors told me, according to what my fruitful friends who've achieved their dreams have told me. Nothing worked. So getting to the time to your doctor is your first step. Second step, after a fruitful consultation, you deciding when to take a hardcore impact in the form of, let's get this streamlined. So initially, since my age is this, I cannot waste more time in conceiving naturally. Let us look into the supportive mechanisms. As a doctor or in the medication part, what are the supporting mechanisms that can be applied? All the supporting mechanisms have been done. I think I'm hitting with my age factor, or my hormones are just not normalizing or regularizing. But so far, there is no fruitful action. Time to decide whether a treatment is advisable. When the doctor says, first itself, sorry, your health aspect itself is so weak that it is better that you go for treatment, please go for it. And you have all your supporting mechanisms, that indicates time is very crucial. So once a treatment plan begins, there are a lot of times that I've seen also in my case documentation, something comes up in between, something that was not part of your health at all. Suddenly there's some new ailment or some new hindrances that is obstructing your dreams come true. We've come across, in simpler terms, my IVF treatment failed. We've heard this commonly. Why my treatment failed? What are the factors that caused the failure? Can we take fruitful actions to overcome the failure? When can we begin a second treatment? Or is there something that needs to be looked into for a better outcome or a fruitful outcome? These are quality questions that needs to be looked, tested to move forward until you achieve the dream. So timeline is very important. First important factor for any female is the onset of puberty. Were your menstrual cycles regular? Did you have painful periods? Were the pain addressed? What sort of medication did you take for your pain? And so forth. Second is your menstruation duration. How many days do you flow? Is the shedding all good? Or is your body falling on an obese factor? Or are you on the lean factor? Is that a real reason? Your marriage line, are you early marrying in your life, or you are late marriage in your lifeline? So your marriage plays an important factor. Then your planning falls accordingly. Late marriage, it's better that you act instantly. Early marriage, you have your window based on your health. The treatment plan, as discussed, there are so many nuances that needs to be seen. If you're not getting clarity, or if you're not understanding why it was advised, but there would be a reason, right? My doctor advised. So get your nuances understood with the help of a counselor. Obviously, the treatment goal is achieving pregnancy and delivery. So there is always the development of pregnancy, which is 9 months, has its own journey. So nothing is concrete until we have the baby in the hand. So the earlier the good decision, the better the outcome. Pregnancy journey is very unique, very subjective, and it is not same for all the ladies. So My neglecting the pregnancy journey part, the treatment itself has its own ups and downs. Sometimes we do see failures, and all failures do not carry a reason. Getting addressed some of the pointers and then getting back has always lead to a fruitful goal. Any questions? No further questions. Let me continue talking. Most important point, and everybody will ask us, then give me a right strategy. What is the strategy of getting pregnant? First one, if you're looking for a natural conception, there would be regular visits. Scan would be advised. There can be medications as a supplements, and there can be sometimes hormonal injections. If they do not work, then you get into an IUI phase. This also involves a repeated visit. There will be repeated scans. Medication definitely a part of the treatment line with injections. And you wait for the result. These are planned ones because IUI is more controlled with medications. So you will know. In your natural phase, you might not know. So we just wait till you repeatedly get scanned to check when your follicles rupturing. Your IVF or an ICSI phase is where your ultimate goal is all about. A lot of time is required, not only in thinking, framing, but also in deciding and moving forward. This is where a planned treatment management is very important. Plan in the wise of visiting, plan in the wise of time, plan in the wise of lifestyle that would be slightly altered, plan in the time of monetization, plan in the time of managing your other aspects of life, because you have to come to the hospital, get yourself injected, or sometimes you will wait for your egg pickup or your embryo transfers. All these are part and parcel. What are you planning to get into? In vitro fertilization or intracytoplasmic seminum injection, that is your ICSI. What is the advice that doctors are giving and why? Is there a male procedure required, either a PISA or a TISA? What are the chances? These chances of what you ask with the doctor, ma'am, what is the success rate? Rather than asking a generalized question, ask, this is my health profile and this is my husband's health profile. What is our success rate? So this where you will come to know where actually you're standing. This also plays an important role. Or do you need in-depth testing on your genetics and also some of the immunological factor? Sometimes we also recommend PGS and PGT to rule out genetic diagnosis if there is a history of miscarriages, or genetic screening if there is a history of genetic anomalies involved in your family line. Sometimes endometrium receptivity array is also done among ladies where implantation was challenging. Some of the hurdles that would come in an IVF treatment failure. Okay, the implantation did not happen. Let's see what can be done when pictures like the embryo quality was really very good, why it did not implant, what are the other nuances that needs to be seen. All would come to the picture. That is why with an IVF treatment, we need a lot of time. It cannot walk in at the age of 45 to say, I tried all this way in my life, nothing worked, and I would like to go for IVF. And then something else comes up in the way, then sometimes the body doesn't cooperate. The treatment line, which we spoke about, either an IUI or an IVF or an ICSI, a male infertility treatment, or whether going for a donor gamete, is purely unique. It is based on test related. The results are always based on individual responses. Not blindly anybody would be advised for any treatment line. The tests are to be done regularly, and treatments are advised based on the test reports if there are some other decision that needs to be taken. Though the final treatment line in fertility is IVF or ICSI, which often looks for good, fruitful results, before that, we also have other venues to look into chances of conception. And to achieve the goal of pregnancy, definitely it takes time. It's an individual journey. which is very unique and different, but the destiny is the same. So, on the whole, what I have been briefing here about is we actually live in a society where we can get anything our heart desires, and very often we usually get it instantly. So, this sometimes makes the impossible possible, but this cannot be true with a fertility treatment. I want a baby and I want it now. Never happens. Essential that one gives oneself the right time and space for deciding on motherhood and allow oneself to ask critical questions along the way. Rather than asking, ma'am, what is the success? But asking, ma'am, where am I in achieving my goal of pregnancy is a better questioning. Don't become prey on social conditioning carried from generation to generation. That you visit a doctor, your dream would come true instantly, or not visiting and getting monitored will also take your dream come true. Don't visit on a Saturday. Do fasting between your treatment line. No, do not become prey to these blind social conditioning. Proper planning, which what I had been mentioning above all, is the fruit for a good journey. Women who can get pregnant but are unable to stay pregnant may also be deemed infertile, is a point to be noted. So never stay in a closed understanding that I'm becoming pregnant. It doesn't mean that I'm not infertile, no? So visiting the doctor is very important. Act responsible, above all, acting on time. In brief, what you're supposed to know, as one of my viewer questioned, you know your doctors, know your counselors for your unique, fruitful journey. So, in that platform, we have four doctors here. One is Dr. Chitra Ramurthy, second one is Dr. Mala Prakash. We also have Dr. Harshita Ramurthy and Dr. Nikita in Apollo CM Fertility at your service. You can walk in, you can have a consultation with them, you can understand where you stand. If you do not understand any aspects that is not giving you fruitful result, you also have health counselors, financial counselors to help you for a better planning. Okay, let's look into some questions here. How do we understand whether the doctor is helping up with the right information is what I've addressed. Do we need a strategy while planning for second time pregnancy also? Should we follow the same steps? Yeah, because we also see commonly that first time the couple they would have got conceived naturally. We do see second time and infertility treatment is what was advised, and then the couple achieving their pregnancy. So even for a second pregnancy, if you want a third pregnancy, no matter what the number is, proper planning is always a fruitful result. While artificial embryo formation, while we get the success chances for it, are you talking about ICSI? Uh, See, 99 percentage we do see embryos develop, but how they grow, um, staying alive, is all the cellular health that comes to the picture. Now, this is where your doubts would be addressed by my embryologist when he looks into some of the cadres to see your cells are good or your cells are weak. So, likely to get good quality embryos or unlikely that some might perish is a valid answer that the embryologist will deal with you. Um, we do see success in all the infertility treatment. So artificial embryo formation does have success chance. Otherwise, why IVF ICSI? Why are we sitting and explaining what are the nuances that is required for a fruitful journey? Any further questions? Okay. To all the viewers, thank you for listening. See you next time with another topic.